What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And you're listening to the first official Springtime 2019 episode of Liquid Kernedge.
I'm just happy to be here. I mean, I got fired last episode, and luckily I
did.
saved myself and got a renewal of my year.
You talked your way back into your job. You lost your job and regained your job.
I know.
All in one episode. And I didn't even know you could get fired at this one. You're one of the co-founders.
And I feel like the Steve Jobs of the podcast. Like, I got fired from the own company I built. So, but I'm back.
Wow. Wait, does that make me Wozniak because I've been here the entire time? Or?
No, just that Steve Jobs got fired, so I got fired.
Oh, I
and
know
Wozniak, the brains of the operation, kept going. So you're the brains.
All right. I just thought I was the looks, but I guess.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's
too.
right. You are the brains and the humor. Or the looks and the humor. I forgot about that. And the velvet voice. Yeah, man. You got the buttery voice.
That's right. You're the smarts. You're the guy that the world probably wants to agree with, but they just can't quite get over the hump to want to do it. Like they want to pull for you, but they just can't.
I know. It's typical of my life. What'd you do this weekend, man? What'd you do?
I'll be honest, man. I kind of took it easy this weekend. With the first weekend of spring, the weather was nice. So I've been having problems sleeping lately. So I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. I just could not go back to sleep.
Ooh.
So I laid there until 6:30, and then I got up. I went to the gym, and I came home, and I did everything I needed to do, and I was done with all my chores by 9 o'clock in the morning. So I started just getting caught up on Netflix and Hulu and whatnot. I've been watching a show on Hulu called Letterkenny. And if you haven't watched Letterkenny on Hulu, I strongly suggest you check it out. It is one of my favorite new shows. Okay. It's just very witty. It's Canadian television, so I'll give the Canucks props on that. But then I watched The Dirt on Netflix, which is the Motley Crue biopic.
Oh, I've heard about it. I haven't seen it yet.
And it was just a cool movie. Obviously they romanticized everything Motley Crue did, from the sex and the drugs and the rock and roll. But within watching that, within the first 10 minutes, if you didn't want to be a glam rocker in the 80s, man, you missed the whole vibe of it. Because I watched that movie thinking, fuck. Like, yeah, I wanted to be a glam rocker in the 80s, and I totally forgot the fact that I was born in 1981, the year that the band started.
Well, and that's the thing is I went to high school during the 80s, so that was my wheelhouse, man. That was it. That was my wheelhouse. So I remember those times, and yeah, ain't nothing but a good time. Oh, whoops, wrong band. But you know what I meant.
Oh yeah, for me, because they spawned bands like Poison, and Rat, and other hair rock bands. And it's funny, because I watched Bohemian Rhapsody not too long ago, the story of Queen, and these are very similarly done stories. How they came together and how they got famous and then had to overcome some kind of adversity to prosper in the end. And I like Bohemian Rhapsody, but for me, this was just much more enjoyable. Maybe because it wasn't an Oscar-level movie, but it was just a fun movie. And these guys, you can't help but love, like, just the attitude, because it's basically told through the eyes of Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee.
Well, that's another question, though, too. Are they in it, or are there actors who play them in it?
They're actors that play them in it, but they voice over a lot of it. Like, they kind of talk about some of the scenarios that were happening, or just the generalizations of the era they were going through, and it was based on the book that the entire band wrote.
Well,
when it was located.
I have a feeling that some of the stories are so unbelievable. That's what makes them true, right? Like unbelievably crazy that it has to be true. Because how could someone make that up and write that?
Exactly. You feel like that happens with a lot of these bands, especially when they go in the section about how hard Tommy Lee partied when he was engaged and married to Heather Locklear. How the road manager would have to handcuff him to the bed every night in a different hotel just to make sure he didn't
cheat on it.
Go on a different cocaine, alcohol bender.
God, Lord. How some of those guys survived as long as they have,
Well, that's what we're talking about today. It's amazing that these guys are surviving and still performing. I mean, Motley Crue retired in 2015, but just how Nikki Sixx is still out there at 6 a.m. Tommy Lee does his own project, so does Vince Neil. Mick Mars has been close to dead for a long time with his bone disease, but these guys are still playing music well into their 60s now. Well, and it's hard to believe they're in their 60s.
Yeah, it must be one of those things as you get older, your priorities change. Like, it used to be sex, drugs, rock and roll. Then it was just sex and rock and roll. Then it just was sex. And now it's just, I'm alive. So I'm good.
Yeah. And we were talking about that work this week. It's kind of like one of those deals where you have to go hard in one direction or the other. Like, you have to go hard into the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or you have to go hard in the other direction to stay alive. Like, you can't dabble in the middle because that's how you overdose.
Oh yeah, right.
You know?
I'll have to check that one out, man.
Yeah. So I did. Yeah, I did that. Then I went to dinner at a friend's house on Saturday night, and this is one of my coworkers, a guy I work with, and he's from New York State, and I've known him the entire time we've worked here. I'll leave his name out of this for the podcast, but I was there with our friends Megan and Brian from the show. Brian,
yep. Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting there having drinks, and our buddy was telling us about this great new lawn tool, yard tool he got. And how it just picked the weeds right up and just scooped them up, and it just changed everything. Like, he weeded his entire backyard in 10 minutes, and Brian and I were like, well, that's fantastic. Like, after dinner, we need to go check this out. I mean, that's the level of maturity that you're getting to now, where it's
oh god,
not let's go play beer pong or go back to Taco Bell. It's like, when we finish our dinner at the table, let's put our plates away, have some more small talk, refill the wine glasses, and go look at this yard tool. And our buddy was so excited. Like, we got out there and he picks it up, and it's a fucking hula hoe. And he'd never seen one before, being from New York, because they have a whole different style of weeds.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh,
what we have
yeah.
out here.
Yeah, exactly.
So Brian and I were looking, I'm like, that's a hula hoe. We grew up with those because we're both from Arizona. It's like, this might be the greatest thing in the world to you, but this was childhood torture for me.
Childhood torture, and only people from Arizona would appreciate that joke.
It's like yeah, this picks up the goat head weeds and everything else really well, but I don't think this is as cool as you think it is. But in the back of my head, though, I'm sitting there thinking, like, you moron, you just ordered a weed torch to burn your weeds, and you're super excited about that showing up. So I don't think you have much room to talk.
So do you think he's at the sex, drug, and rock and roll point of his life, or is he on just the sex and rock and roll part of his life?
I think he's just on the sex and rock and roll and weeding.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think that's how far off he's gone.
Because then it will dwindle down to just sex and his garden and his garden tool. So I mean,
Yeah, but that's how our evening went. And I started getting excited for the fact that I ordered that weed torch, and it came in the mail today.
Oh, you bought one?
So I bought one.
Oh, God.
And I came home from work, and I already bought the propane tanks and everything. I went out there and I blow torched my yard. And it was fucking amazing.
Oh.
And I realized I get why he was so excited about that tool, because I'm excited about this tool. And if this is what my late 30s is about, being excited about yard tools,
well,
I mean, I'm afraid to turn 40 to see what I'm going to get excited for.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what you're going to get excited about. If you're anything like me, which we've already learned from the episodes that you're not. But if you were like me, you get excited for Valentine's Day when you get a new pen to write with.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the little things like that. Gone are the days of the video games and, all like the cool knickknacks. That's like, yeah, dude, I got this blowtorch. It's fucking amazing, But
like you said, I mean, when you're young, the video games, that is important. Like the coolest video game, you're going to spend the next 24, 48 hours straight playing. I remember in college, it was Super Tecmo Bowl. I don't know if you remember that game. And we would spend the whole weekend.
I was in elementary
we would
school,
spend the whole weekend playing that game. We'd order pizza, have beers, and just play all weekend. Each of us would pick a team, and then we'd go through the seasons. And anytime the team that you picked played against another player, then you would basically have a contest. Now I couldn't imagine. Hey, Scott, we have a whole weekend. What do you want to do together? Playing video games would not be even remotely on my list.
No, not mine either. It would be completely different things.
Yeah. Now it wouldn't be blowtorching weeds though either. So we'd have to come up with a happy medium.
That takes like 10 minutes though. So that's like I'd have to you'd have to try it out, and you'd be intrigued. Let's not mince words about it. You'd want to give it a whirl. I'm like, this is pretty fucking cool. If I had a house, I would get this. And when you get a house, maybe for a housewarming present, I'll get you a weed torch.
We're getting closer. We've been looking more seriously, and we found a house that was already under contract that we would have bought in a second had we had an opportunity to place an offer before the contract was already signed by someone else. It was awesome. It was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, big backyard with a nice pool. And the nice thing is for guests like you that come down and want to stay with us, your bedroom had its own bathroom, private bathroom. So it was like a second master suite for the guests. And all I could think about is Scott could chill here so easily.
Yeah, I can move and you guys would never know it until another decade.
The only thing that was kind of bad was I would feel bad about, our executive producer, Tom, not being able to have you on his air mattress.
Well, him having his drug flop house air mattress bedroom, while a nice accommodation, which we will be using here in a couple of weeks when you guys are on vacation, it's not quite as nice as a private bathroom in a house with a pool. Yeah. And he'll understand that. It is what it is. That's his business.
That's right.
That's basic Liquid Kernedge economics.
You guys have made a pretty good life for yourself. Our executive producer got his master's degree. You got a good job. He's got a good job. You guys did pretty good.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad. We've worked hard.
And you didn't even have to play women's volleyball at USC either. That was the best part.
No, I did.
You could make a life for yourself and not even have to worry about USC playing women's volleyball, dude.
First off, it was crew. And secondly, before we even go into that, if you were going to play a college sport at your college, whether it be community college or a university or a trade school, what sport would that be? Hit us up at Liquid Kernedge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to play Tom in a one-on-one game of checkers over the internet, hit him up at Liquid_EP at Twitter and Instagram. Or if you want to donate so Tom can go back to college for another bachelor's degree, also Liquid_EP. We'll start a GoFundMe for that. Maybe.
Oh, I love it. See, there you go.
Jason, proceed.
I love it.
Yeah, isn't it great? It's a good idea.
Good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, no.
But no, I never played. I never rode crew. I never played women's volleyball in college. I did it on my own.
Well, but here's the thing. I guess the thing is, as everyone knows, this whole story is blown up about these rich people buying their kids into colleges kind of unethically. But I look at you and Tom. I think your parents seem like pretty good parents. You guys are really good guys. You guys have successful careers. There's a new term now that they're calling, it's called a snowplow parent. And the snowplow basically, I guess, symbolizes that they pave the road by doing whatever they need to so their kids don't have to struggle or do anything. Isn't that part of what makes you guys success, is that you had to struggle a little bit in your lives?
Yeah. It's funny. When we went to college, our parents made us a deal. So we had to go to 2 years of community college. And they would pay for 2 years at a state university after that. But that was also back when college was relatively cheap at the university. Yeah. A full semester for me might have been $1,500 for 12, plus credit hours.
Well, and didn't they say that the one girl who went to USC didn't even want to go to college? Like she was trying to do a Kylie Jenner kind of thing, and she would.
Yeah, it was Aunt Becky's daughter from Full House, her youngest daughter, I think. She had all these modeling contracts and endorsements from all these major companies. And when on Instagram saying she's just here for the partying and the college experience, she doesn't even care if she goes to class.
So I wonder then if she even knew that her parents were doing this then, if her parents were making all these arrangements, or if she was innocent victim in all this. And
she would have had to, because she was on quote-unquote a rowing crew scholarship. They didn't even have her listed on the crew team.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, yeah.
That's just dumb.
So the question I have to all the parents out there is how far do you go to help your kids, and where's the line between helping and overstepping the help line?
And I agree with that, because in that case, you go back to maybe their parents helped her get into school with donating the money they did to USC or giving the money to USC like they did. But this girl's already a millionaire with her modeling contracts and everything else. So it's kind of a moot point. It's almost a waste of money if you think about it.
Yeah, I know USC is a good school, but like if you're going to spend $500,000, you know how many schools you could go to on a full ride for a doctorate degree, quality education for $500,000.
Oh, absolutely. So, I'm sure it's Stanford, any Ivy League school.
Yeah.
Seattle University.
Oh my God, Seattle University! You could own Seattle University for $500,000. That's right? You could flat out own it. You own it.
Arizona State would take that $500,000 and build a giant beer bong and ship it to Mars.
Oh gosh,
that's what we do at the
That's right. That's right. And the other thing that I think about is remember a couple of years ago where that one kid who got in a drunk driving accident and killed those people, and then his mom took him to Mexico. I don't remember what the name of that. They gave him like a little nickname, but basically he was a teenager who, his parents were rich and got him off from this drunk driving and took him to Mexico to flee the police
extradition.
And it's like, that's overboard, man. That's overboard. We're parents. We live our kids. I get that, but there's got to be a way to decipher how much is too much.
Well, you have to teach your kids to face the consequences. You know, they have to be able to deal with the things that life deals with them. You know, they can't learn that money will just bail you out or your parents will bail you out because you have the money. You have to be willing to go out there and actually, you know, do the work.
Yeah.
Experience life.
And you know, I mean, I think there's a fine line even between helping them to kind of get started, but giving them the freedom to learn their lessons on their own, and basically removing all of the lessons that they could learn. You know, and maybe that's what that snowplow is indicating, is like, I'm going to take away any hurdle, any obstacle. You're never going to have an obstacle. Your life is going to be the easiest thing since sliced bread.
And you know what? I guess part of me doesn't care. Like, fine, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But if your kid doesn't even care that you did that for him, like in Aunt Becky's case, like her kid didn't even care about going to school. She just wanted the experience. Well, fuck, go get an apartment with some of your college girlfriends and go do that. Go to the parties that way.
Yeah.
Don't enroll in school and take up a dorm spot with somebody that, you know, that needs that because they're trying to go to school to make this world a better place.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I just, like you said, why would you have so little faith in your daughter? I mean, if she's already starting a career at 18 years old, that's probably going to make more money than you did as an actress. Why can't you just be well enough to say, hey, do what you're going to do then and be passionate about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the backlash. She's gonna go to jail. She's not gonna be on the Fuller House final season on Netflix. I mean, she's lost everything at this point.
I heard that she lost her gig at the Hallmark card or the Hallmark Network.
The Hallmark Channel kicked her off. So if any of our female listeners are looking for an acting job on the Hallmark Channel, where it's like 2 weeks worth of work, you film 57 Christmas movies, and you're gonna play a variety of single divorcees that own either a bakery, card shop, or just move back to your hometown, that role could be perfect for you. It's 2 weeks worth of work for 57 movies on the Hallmark Channel. If you want to find out how to apply, we will help you with your audition tape at Liquid Kernedge. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
I love the plug, dude. That was good. But we want clean videos, though. Hallmark does not take any videos that would be considered R or even PG-13 for that matter.
Yeah, it's got to be PG. It's got to be PG. That's right. So we have to keep that into consideration with what we do here.
Yeah,
but help us help you become the next Hallmark Channel star.
Do you agree with this comment or sentiment that people of privilege have easier roads for their children than if it was just a normal student trying to get into USC?
You know, and I guess it depends on the level of rich, like the uber rich, which I don't know anybody that has fuck you money, basically. You know, I know a lot of families in my world that do very well because they have a very successful business and they're not hurting, and their kids are now grown up in my age, and they all had to go to school, and they maybe went to school for free, but they had to be, you know, they had to get real jobs, and they had to have real careers, and I think that says something.
Well, and I mean, so I think about like an actor like you know, Tom Hanks's son is an actor, you know, but your dad's Tom Hanks. So how much does your relationship with him play into how your career has evolved? You know, were they basically saying, hey, look, you can use my name, but you got to do this on your own? Or did they like say, hey, you can, you know, you just let me call whoever you want and I'll get you the roles? I mean, you know, even to that level, it's like, can you tread on your parents' name and be sick?
Well, let's be real. In that world, you have to have some kind of talent, because all Colin Hanks ever did was star in that Jack Black movie, Orange County, and a couple already canceled TV shows. Aside from that, what's he done?
Yeah, I mean, I remember him from, he was on a season of Dexter. That's where I first saw him, was a season of Dexter.
Yeah, and see, I remember seeing him on that Orange County movie when I was in college 18 years ago. Yeah. So it's been that long. And granted, Tom Hanks didn't really take off until his late 30s, early 40s with Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. But I don't think this guy quite has the career trajectory, because I don't think he's as quite as a good actor as Tom Hanks' dad. You know?
I mean, I guess I will say that about sports is I respect in sports that you can be Michael Jordan's son, but that doesn't guarantee you anything, right? I mean, you can be Shaquille O'Neal's son, but that in and of itself is not guaranteeing you an like you're not going to get to be able to go to the best school in the country just because you're Michael Jordan's son.
Well, no, exactly. You know, I look at the Griffeys. Ken Griffey Jr., and Trey Griffey, Ken Griffey III.
Okay.
Ken Griffey Sr. was a borderline Hall of Fame baseball player for the Big Red Machine in the Mariners. And when Junior came up in the late 80s, he played with the Mariners with his dad, and that's one of those rare things where father-son got to play together.
Yeah.
And Junior was a superstar. You have to admit, Ken Griffey Jr. was the star of baseball in the 90s. And then his son played baseball and football, chose football at U of A, and ultimately didn't get drafted, didn't pan out. I mean, so he got the look at U of A because they hoped he played baseball too, but when he didn't commit to baseball full time, things just kind of fizzled,
To get drafted by the NFL just to get drafted?
If I remember right, I don't know. I think he got signed as a practice squad by the Redskins or somebody, if I remember right. But I mean, he's made such an impact. I can't even tell you what team he's playing for. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is that, the other thing, I was at the game, just as a side note, I was at the game when they were when they hit back-to-back home runs, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr.
Oh, you were at that game?
Yeah, I was in Seattle in college at the time, and it was fun, man.
Look at you, all historical and stuff.
I know.
It sounds like you have a special guest over there.
There's a bird that's talking to me now. I don't know what he's doing, but he's being crazy.
Trying to get on the show.
Probably, yeah. Hold on just a second. I'll work with him while you're talking, so hold on.
Well, maybe he's asking when our next Drunk History is going to be scheduled, because I got my hair cut by Josh down at Bully Street Barbers this last week, and he is anxious to get us in there to have this discussion about women's suffrage.
Gosh, I know. I need to get up to Kingman to do that. The next few weeks are kind of busy for me, but,
Well, that's fine. They're kind of busy for me too. They did ask though: is women's suffrage a hard topic that you want to definitely discuss, or is there another option?
Well, hey, I mean we could pick a different topic if you want, but I thought.
Well, I lost the bet, so the bet was whatever your topic was. I was going to give you the first lunar landing, and you picked women's suffrage. So I feel like you want to get me in trouble with our ladies.
Yeah, I might have to find a different topic. I'll get something, but it really doesn't matter until I can get up there to do it. We don't really have an opportunity to. So it gives me a couple weeks to play with it, a couple months to play with it. So
that's true. Let's not wait a couple months, because I think you got some people up here that do miss seeing you.
I know. And I think that over the next 6 weeks with looking for houses and stuff, our weekends, if we're not in town. I mean, if we're in town, we have to start looking for houses. Once we get a contract on something, then we'll definitely.
Yeah, I get that. I know when you guys are off on vacation the end of April, JP and I are down there for the Tillman run. That happened last year too, where it's just our paths crossed.
I know. Yeah, it's awful. And hopefully, I mean, we won't have a new house by then, because I think we're not going to close till May. But when we do, next year, you'll have a place to stay, baby.
Well, I guess it's not so bad for us to say that at the executive producer's house, because it is right down the way from the train station that takes to the start line.
Yeah.
So it does have
That's
some
true.
perks to it,
That's true. Well, this is a good episode, man. I appreciate your time on this, man.
Hey, I appreciate your time. It's always a fun time to record with you. We didn't really have a topic going into tonight. We just had a couple ideas that we wanted to talk about. Like, I was very excited about my wheat tour.
Well, every once in a while, just like a conversation over a beer is okay,
Yeah, I think so. Or a conversation over a podcast, which I know we have a lot of new listeners starting to chime into.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of people saying they're checking us out finally, and they do appreciate what it is we're doing.
Oh, good.
Because it makes them feel like that they're in the bar with us, and they get a chance to talk, and they get a chance to think that we're idiots, which is good, because more people should feel that.
Yeah, it seems like every week we get a new country or a new listener from another state that we haven't heard from in a while. Like, we just picked up a couple people from Oregon. We got a Hawaiian now that's out there. So we got a few people out there that are starting to listen to us again. So,
it's a goal for us to be Liquid Kernedge nationwide and Liquid Kernedge worldwide.
Yeah. We still have to do something with the North and South Dakotans, though. They don't like to listen to us, I guess.
We have nothing in the Dakotas. Huh?
Yeah, we have nothing in the Dakotas. Yeah, we have to pick up someone in the Dakotas. So if you know someone who lives in South or North Dakota, please let them know that we'd love to listen to them. We'd love to hear from them. We'd love them to listen to Liquid Kernedge as well.
Maybe that should be our goal for season 3. My boss always wants to talk about, measured accomplishments and goals. maybe our goal for 2019 and 2020 should be to shut that fucking bird up and to get to North Dakota and South Dakota.
Yeah, that bird has been chirping a lot. He must have gone to USC too. He's getting all mad at me.
Or he's a wild
something.
You know, those U of A graduates,
they're crazy.
They're something
That's
else.
Right.
Yeah. So you know, thanks everyone for checking us out today. Like I said earlier, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Check out Tom's Swear Trek GIF of the week at liquid_EP, both on Twitter and Instagram.
Hey, that was a perfect plug. Tom's going to really like that. He's not going to like the bird. I'm going to get notices on that, but hey, what can I do?
Yeah. Spring is sprung and the birds are chirping.
That's right. Scott, great episode. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate all you guys listening to us. That was Scott. I am Jason, and that's a bird. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.